Hey guys, it's Good Friday. It's April the 10th. Found those mushrooms a couple weeks ago. We gave it a couple of weeks. I gave it about 2 weeks. Decided we'd come out and look for some more. And we got up early this morning. This is my second trip. We did a bunch of walking. We finally found some. We found the big yellow morels. So mushrooms grow in this little thread called a mycelium. And I like to cut the mushrooms off. But if you think of that mycelium as like a thread growing underneath of the leaves or right along underneath the dirt, the mushroom is literally the fruit that comes off of that thread. And sometimes when you find one, you'll find a bunch of them right in a row. So think of it as a something that's like been planted and it's just growing. It's not necessarily in a straight line, but sometimes you can find several mushrooms at one time. And I just happened to walk into some, and I'm going to show you. You can kind of tell they're all in almost like in a straight line. There's 5 of them right here. There's 3 of them over there, and so we literally just got into them. So let's have some fun. I'm gonna show you those. Okay, guys. Remember I started saying that mycelium is like a thread. If you look, there's 4 mushrooms right there in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, right in a row. That should kind of tell you that there's something, there that they're popping off of. And then if you look right over there, there's another one. So when I come up on these, I just stopped. And then I was kind of just standing here looking around. I didn't pick any of them yet. Like I said, I'm going to cut them. I don't want to pull the root out. I don't want to mess up that thread underneath the ground. So I'm just going to cut the stem, say in half, and then pick the top of the mushroom off. But as I was standing here looking, I found 4 more, and they're rather large. There's 3 right here. You can see those. Yeah, there's 3 of them right there. And then right over here is another one. But here's a false morel, and I just literally walked up on it. And that is a rather large one. They get bigger than this, but they're solid. I wonder if I can set this camera down here. So this is a false morel. It has a maroon color. A lot of people call them a red mushroom. They're solid. They kind of look like a maroon wrinkled up brain on a white stem. This one actually has 3 lobes on it, so it's kind of flat. So it's still a false morel, but it's not a true false morel. It's got there's a different name for it, and when I look it up, I will let you know. I'll type it in at the bottom of the screen here so you guys can see that too. But they're considered poisonous, but again, generations of families have eaten them, and the conservation department knows that. But since some people have gotten sick from them, they do list them as poisonous. But that's a false morel. First one I found this year. Hey folks, we're gonna do something a little bit different today. It's Sunday the 12th. It's Easter Sunday, and today we're gonna go look for some mushrooms in a spot. But I thought today that I would try and do a little tree identification. Tell you some of the trees that I look for when looking for these morels. I don't know what it is. There's some sort of compatibility with some of the trees that are in the forest and where these mushrooms like to grow. So I'll kind of try and point those out as we go through. Hope you enjoy. Hope we find some. So one of the trees that I look for when trying to find mushrooms is a sycamore tree, and on the bottom they got this brown scaly bark, and as you go up the tree it turns kind of white and grayish colored. If you look up there, point the camera up there. So there's no mistaking these trees. They're kind of white on top, and then the bark gets kind of scaly as it comes down, and it's scaly and hard on the bottom. And they have these great big leaves in the springtime or in the summertime, huge big green leaves. But you look for these trees in creek beds, and for some reason mushrooms I always find mushrooms around these sycamore trees, and I was walking through here and I found an old one that had been kicked over. It's not worth saving. I just saw the stem, so I literally just got down there. But there's one tree that you can look for while walking in the woods, and hopefully that'll help you find more mushrooms. Here's the first one of the day. Not real big, but it is one. So this is a standing dead elm tree. It's been broken in half, but an elm tree will die standing, and the bark will come off in just sheets. And there's no mistaking this tree. It's got, well, if they're alive, they have leaves. This is a young one. But the leaves are kind of pointed in a teardrop shape with all of the little veins at them. So there's another one right there. So these are trees that I look for as I'm walking through the woods. I'm just looking for sycamore trees, elm trees, standing dead elm trees. The live elm trees don't seem to produce mushrooms as much, but there's some sort of correlation with these elm trees and ash trees, and even sometimes oak trees. But I'm seeing, I just walked up to this spot and I already spot 1, 2, 3, 4 mushrooms, and I'll show you something here real quick. They generally produce pretty good size, point it down. They generally produce pretty good sized mushrooms. So this is an older mushroom, but I see a fresh one there and a couple of older ones back here. So this is yet another spot that I'm going to continue to look year after year. Most of the time, while they're standing and they still have bark, or right when the bark first falls off, is when I find the most mushrooms around these trees. But for some reason, after the bark's been on the ground for a long time, they seem to quit producing, and I don't know why. But again, cut the mushrooms off. Don't disturb the root. That mycelium under the leaves and under, right underneath the dirt is what. There's another one over there. So now I'm up to 5 mushrooms already, and I literally just walked up here and set up the camera so that I could show you guys this tree. So there's 2 trees right there that you can identify going through the woods. There's no mistaking the bark. I'll show you a live one as we get going, and maybe we'll find some more. Happy hunting. There's one. There's one. Step over this. There's one. We're looking around, and there's another one. Mushrooms, mushrooms everywhere. There you can kind of see that bark just peeling off that elm tree. And here's another mushroom. This is a live elm tree. You can kind of see the bark, and again the leaves are kind of that shape. They have all the lines and they get the same way when they get bigger. We're standing here, we're kind of looking around, and we found 6 mushrooms so far right here at this one tree. So hopefully that helps you guys. So we found 13 and a shed antler. A little one, but that's okay. We found a shed antler. Found a couple of decent sized mushrooms too. You know, they're a little old, but they're still edible. We found a couple fresh ones. So they're still coming up. It's still early, but hopefully those 2 trees will give you something, give you a place to start looking. You know, we found all of these except for one by standing dead elm trees. The other one was by a sycamore tree. And then I did find that other one. So technically, I guess we found 14 today. I let that one lay on the ground because it was inedible. But hopefully that gives you somewhere to start. So it's Saturday, April the 18th. Monday is opening day of turkey season, and we decided we We're gonna come out and try and find some more mushrooms. And remember, I was trying to tell you guys about trees, what trees to look for. I told you elm trees, sycamore trees, ash trees, and even some oak trees. And so I did a little research, and what I found out is that morel mushrooms have a symbiotic relationship with these trees. And when they let out their spores, the mycelium grows along the roots of these trees and may never pop up for years and years and years. But all of a sudden, when the tree is injured or is getting ready to die, or something happens to that tree, it sends out some sort of chemical or something to the mycelium, which alerts the mycelium, hey, our host tree is going to not be here very much longer, so we should probably fruit. And that's when the mushrooms come up, so they spread the spores, and so it can grow somewhere else. Generally, the seed of the tree and the mycelium generally probably hit at the same place at the same time, and they start growing together. So a prime example of that is all those standing dead elm trees. And I just got down here and I found a mushroom, but I kind of want to show you something. So as you can see, that mushroom is growing right at the base of this tree. Now, I don't see any others at the moment. I literally just found this one. But if I come up this tree, you can see that it has an injured trunk. And if I just keep going up, this is an oak tree. And if I just keep going up this tree, you can see that whole trunk is dead and it's probably about ready to fall. Now, I think the tree itself is healthy, but for some reason or another, it let out the warning to the mycelium and said, hey, I need to grow. So there's a mushroom. So the better you can identify trees, the better your chances of finding mushrooms. Elm trees, sycamore trees, ash trees, and sometimes oak trees. This is an oak tree. And right beside it, believe it or not, is a sycamore tree. See how it's white on top and scaly bark as it comes down, and it's all brown. Just something to look for. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you another little tip. When you're out and about in the woods, don't forget stuff, because sometimes nature really does call. And I hope you learned something. Man, I appreciate you guys watching. Hit the subscribe button and hit that like button down below. I always use more subscribers. We finally hit 400 today. That's kind of a milestone. It's kind of humbling, you know. I never thought it'd really turn into anything, and here it is. I got 400 subscribers. So keep watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll just keep making out the content as long as you guys keep watching. Thanks for watching When Nature's Calling Outdoors, and we'll catch you next time.